Video. Hello.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to the We the People weekday live stream series. And we have one more day this week before we go on vacation, right? We're going to take Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off, Tony.
Yeah, sounds sounds good. Yeah.
Awesome. So today's topic we're going to be talking about is school working for your child. It's going to be a conversation on choice. And we have with us today Tony's daughter, Jasper, right?
Hi.
Yeah. We've been through many different types of schooling, so I thought that it would be kind of interesting. And then I know that you homeschool too.
Yep.
So I thought that it would be interesting to get the perspective of a kid that's been through many different types, to see what her perspective is, because she's got a lot to say about it.
Yeah, you want to just go through like your experience, Jasper?
Yeah.
You want to from start to where you are now?
Do you want me to
Yeah,
start?
sure.
Or you got it?
I got it.
Okay.
I'm the one who went to school. So I went to public school for kindergarten and third grade, but up until eighth grade, I was homeschooled. Which for me worked pretty well. The only things that I would say didn't work well for me was the less social interaction. But then eighth grade to now, I'm in public school, which has been both really good and also it's school. It's when I went eighth grade, I was already ahead of most of my peers because I had been doing the eighth grade material my seventh grade. Because for homeschool, you go at your own pace, at least with the one that we did.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was like a breeze. And then
can we touch on that? Can we touch on that real quick? So when you said in homeschool, you can go at your own pace, right? So you're able to, if you get done faster, you're able to go on to the next subject, right? You can actually progress through multiple grades in a year, really.
Yeah.
Okay, and then now you're in public school, right?
Yeah. So after doing my last middle school year, it's going into high school. I got into a program called Cambridge, which is like kind of a college program, kind of like if Running Start was like not Running Start. I don't know how exactly to explain it, but it's like it's harder material, it's more fast paced, it's different like required stuff. So one of my required classes for Cambridge was environmental science, where we learned like environmental science pretty much for the whole year.
And it's a European type curriculum. So they actually learn different things, like in environmental science. They actually touched on chemtrails.
Yeah, which is
wow.
Yeah.
I forget what they called it in the
solar geoengineering.
Yeah. Which so
yeah,
it's like
that's a thing.
It goes through a lot of stuff. But so I did that for 3 years, and I'm in my senior year. And since I'm doing a college program for cosmetology, I am not doing Cambridge anymore. So I'm now doing gen ed classes, and my only two required classes other than PE are 2 English classes. And it's just made me realize like how different the expectations are, because going from doing an essay or 2 every week, or like even in a day, it's like we have 1 essay for the whole year for both classes, because I have trimesters. So it's a really weird difference, because you get like a week and a half for an essay versus the day to 3 days an essay we got in Cambridge. So
how big are the essays, and what are the requirement differences for the essays? Because that's a big thing too, right?
It is. So with the I think I'm trying to remember, because I finished the essay in like 2 days, because it was analyzing an argument for an article, which the article is actually about like school expectations and things like that. So my English teacher also teaches Cambridge and gen ed, so I think that was his way of like trying to get that into gen ed classes. And there was no like specific requirements for word count. It was like a 5-paragraph essay analyzing the argument, and that's it. That was pretty much like the whole rubric from what I saw. And I asked specifically what the word limit was because I wasn't sure if like people were normally doing like 1,000-word essays or 2,000-word essays, because from Cambridge, we were taught how to do like analyzing an argument in 2 hours, writing 1,000 to 2,000 words. Because that's our exams for some of our classes. So it was just like a really big difference because they were like, as long as it's not a novel, I don't know what that means, but but it's just a really big difference between Cambridge like college classes and the gen ed classes. It's night and day, honestly.
Yeah. You know, awesome. When we started with homeschool, we chose to do it. Number one, I always wanted to be able to, right? And I had the opportunity to be able to do that then. But when she went to kindergarten, it was a nightmare. Like, it was a morning, and getting her up to go was a nightmare. Like, she's never, ever been a morning kid. And so we almost had the Becca bill called on us because of it. And if you don't know what the Becca bill is if you miss too many days, then you can get in really big trouble. But
yeah, that's why we like homeschool, because it's flexible.
Right, right. And it doesn't take 6 to 8 hours to teach your kid. It does not require your child to be gone for 8 hours a day. No. It took us maybe we would max probably spend about 4 hours a day. Yeah. Like on the high side.
A lot of it was hands-on stuff too. So like for some of our history things, it was like bake this specific thing from this specific era of the United States and try it and like do the recipe and then like write something about it. And like I liked that a lot, the hands-on.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so it's a lot more interesting. It's a lot more creative in a way. And I'm sure it molds more to the student as well, right? Because you could have gone slower as well and still gone through the curriculum, or right.
Yeah. So we actually used a program because I was worried that I wasn't smart enough to teach her, and that I wouldn't know what to do and that I would fail. And so we actually used a program called CVA. So it still was technically a school, but they had lots of choices of different curriculums that you would normally pay a lot of money for. So because it was still a school program, everything was free. Right. And so that also meant that we had a teacher that we checked in with once a week, which for me, I thought was important. And then to hold me accountable, because it could be so easy just to be like, it's okay, we're just not going to do it. But at the same time, there was a lot of things that we didn't finish. Like we didn't get through everything. And so I worried when she was in 3rd grade that maybe I was failing her, right? Because it seemed so easy. So I sent her back to school in 3rd grade to make sure she aced all of the state testings, like super high scores on the state testing. She was helping the teacher teach the kids math. She'd be going around the classroom to help the other students. Yeah. So it was, it was nice. So we came back home. I was like, okay, obviously I'm good. And so she came back home. And then the reason why she went to school in 8th grade was because we had to make a decision for high school, because I knew for high school, we would not be using those curriculums anymore, that we would do something different. And so going from high school to homeschool is much easier, but they may not accept the credits that you did during homeschool to high school if we ever decided to send her back to high school. And so we wanted to make sure, like, do you want to continue homeschool or do you want, and that's the greatest thing, right? Is because you're also teaching your kids that they're responsible for their futures. They are the ones who hold the key to everything in their own hands. And so I thought it was important for her to make that decision.
Sure.
Right.
Yep.
And, so that's why she went back to school and then aced everything again in 8th grade, right? Like presidential award, all these awards. She was getting art awards and, because when you're homeschooling, you have the freedom to teach them. So, with this program, even though it was still a school program, we had the freedom to do the lessons the way that we wanted to. And so it was never set in, they have like, here's your curriculum, this is what you do. But if there was something that we could go do that was linked to that, we would go do something, right? So we might go to the history museum because they have something there that's related to what we were learning. Or, Columbus is, the shit that they teach you about Columbus is just stupid. So we learned real Columbus history, right? And so that was great. Or some of it, I didn't like the narrative that they were teaching. So I did not teach that bullshit, indoctrination crap. And so I took all that out and we did it different. So it gives you the freedom then to choose how you want your child taught.
Yep, absolutely. There's so much more out there than what it's just plugged into the government education system. And I went through it. My entire education was through the government system. And I knew that there was so much more I wish I would have learned. I wish they would have taught me personal development, sales skills, and communication skills.
Right.
And there's just so much more. So then what we did with our kids, we taught them that personal development, confidence, how to learn is big. How to reason is really big, right? So if they learn how to learn quickly, and how to find information, how to ask questions, and how to gain that knowledge quickly and then turn it into skills, like they'll be able to do a whole lot. Because that's where I think the government education system really fails kids. Absolutely. It doesn't teach to their potential. It teaches to a standard. Everyone has to go at this pace. I remember in small business management class, I had read that entire book in 2 weeks for small business in the small business management class. And it was a year-long class that they went through that book. That entire year took them to get through that one book. And the teacher never owned a business either. She's never been a small business person. She was just teaching out of the book. Wow. And that's it. So that, you get bored. I just drew a lot in class. Right.
That's this one. When she comes home, I think it was a week or two into this year of schooling, right? And we were a little worried because she goes to school from like 3 o'clock or 3:30 to 9 p.m. or
it's okay. You're so close. 3 o'clock to 9:30 at CBTC.
Right. So at Clover Park. And so,
evenings? So it's in the evening. Gotcha.
Yeah. So we were a little worried about, is going to be able to manage it all. She comes in like a week or two. She's like, I should not have taken gen ed classes. This is so boring. This is going to suck. And so she wishes now that she would have taken AP. Yeah. But,
the worst part is I can't switch to AP for my last trimester because I would be behind in that. And like, I could probably catch up to it.
Sure.
But like, it's just
if you wanted to, right? If you wanted to put the energy towards catching up,
right? Yeah. So we just focus on the hair.
Yeah. So you're also in a band, is that right?
I've been in a couple. I do a band program called Live It Out Loud every year. Since I think it was my sophomore year, I started doing it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I'm also in a duo band with one of my best friends. Cool. We don't actively go out and do stuff as a band, but it's I do a lot of music stuff.
Awesome. Well, that's good. You're able to have that creativity.
Yeah. Well, and then when she was in elementary school, we did Girl Scouts.
Mm-hmm. We did that up until I was in like
fifth or sixth grade. I don't really remember how long, but it was, so I'd put her in a troop. And then I ended up having to be the troop leader because the troop leader left. And then I'm kind of crazy because I have expectations, and like I was doing it because I wanted them to learn. And I thought that the whole point in Girl Scouts was to teach them how to be like business leaders and leaders, right? And all this stuff. So I didn't get along with a lot of the moms. Like I have two of my best friends are from that, but those were the only friends I had in there because I had expectations for the kids, right? So we would go and do, so they learned a lot of business stuff and
selling cookies.
selling cookies, but then we would also go do craft fairs and stuff like that. And so they would make things and we would do craft fairs and sell stuff there too. So that, and then they got to choose what they spent the money on and everything. And, you know, so that's what we did for the extra stuff for socialization and things like that. So this one is never, I could send her into the grocery store at 12 years old. And if she couldn't find something, she'd go and ask somebody. You know, my son wouldn't order pizza over the phone. He waited to order pizza by himself until you could order on the fucking internet.
Oh, geez.
And he was in public school.
Yeah. Yeah. So, our kids can go in and do that. We got Caroline started, I think at 11 with, she was making jewelry and she got a booth at the farmer's market. So we did that. And then now she bakes. So she's got her own baking business and she does cake pops and, you know, custom cakes and cupcakes and cookies, and she's been busy.
That's awesome. So, yeah. It's amazing when you give them the freedom, and that's it, right? We're giving them the freedom to explore what they actually like, because in high school, what are those dumb ass requirements that you have for that like they're requiring you to figure out what you like? It's easy for you because you know what you want to be when you grow up, but yeah,
so I have an advisory class still, even though I'm like doing college classes at CPTC, and the things that are required for it, and this is like state requirements, this isn't like a school requirement thing, this is like state required mandatory things. It's called School Links, and it's like getting you ready for going to college and like where you'd have to go to college, your career plan, what money it would make you, and like it's a good thing. I love the idea of that for like people who don't know what they're gonna do, or like they don't know how to figure out where to go for it. I, however, already know what I'm doing because I'm actively working towards my hair license in school as I'm doing high school. So it's like, I feel like that, like if you're doing a program like that and you're already going to be coming out of high school with not only the knowledge of how to get into your career, but also like being trained for your license for it, I don't feel like you should have the same requirements as someone who's just doing like gen ed classes, who is not doing like a college program or like just like sports. Like I get sports because like there's scholarships, there's things that people want to do outside of sports, but like making it a requirement for people that already know what they're doing is.
But is it a requirement that you like? Are they pushing college? Is that what they're pushing? That they're pushing college or not?
They're just pushing higher education or like planning for your job, and a lot of the jobs that they have on there require like internship or like a trade school. So like it's the whole like.
They don't count cosmetology.
Well, they do, but she still has to do all this shit. Which it's not like it takes a lot of time or anything like that. Like
I did all my missing assignments for advisory like a week before the trimester ended, and it took me 2 days max, and there was like a billion assignments.
We were trying to get her out of it, so she was behind on it because it was like it's stupid, like it was just dumb.
It's because one of the things on it is like I said, like working out your college and your career, and it basically makes you go through where you would go. Would it be a trade school, 2 years, 4 years, like everything like that? And it's just like I don't get why it's required for people who are doing a trade school actively in high school, because I know I know of a couple people who were doing that last year and they're like graduated and stuff. And it didn't do anything for them because they're already going into their
there was no assessment. There was no assessment at the beginning, like where you were like, I already have my plan. I don't need this. Pass me. Let me get out of here. Like no assessment. They weren't like.
No.
It's a state requirement, so it's not like a.
It's not something that you can get out of. And I let her. It's her responsibility to take care of her stuff in school, right? I'm not coming to save her because that doesn't teach anything, right? And so I rarely step in, but like there's times where I step in because it's just ridiculous. So I tried to get her out of it because it's a waste of time.
And they were telling you that there's nothing they can do, right? It's a policy. Yeah, nothing. Yeah, that's why we don't, send our kids to government school, because there's times where the kids have events in the evenings, and they're exhausted, and they,
Yeah.
letting them sleep in, like they should be able to sleep in.
Right.
Their body needs to rest and recover.
Right.
And our 11-year-old just finished her first book, and it's like it's
so cool.
a big one. So which we're gonna have to cut some things down, but yeah, at 11 years old.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's just,
amazing.
there's so much more can be taught, and I feel like the system is holding people back. And there's a lot. And having school choice is going to open up way more options.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some things out there that are like specific schools made for that already, and I agree that they should become like a bigger thing, because there's a couple schools that I know of, I don't remember their names, but they're like, your kid goes here from this time to this time, or like you have a set amount of time they have to be there and be doing your stuff, but you're not like doing a specific curriculum for one thing. You're actually doing
like integrated
training. Yeah. And up in Canada, I think that's like a standard thing where like you can go into a specific career like engineering or cosmetology in your high school career. Like that's just standard there, and I wish that would come down here more.
This is strange, because that assessment there, or that class that's required your graduating year, that should actually be taught to kids who are like 13 or 14. Like, what path do you want to get on? Someone really likes cars. Oh, okay. So it starts that early. Like if someone likes cars and they want to work on a car, they want to be a mechanic, at 14 or 15, they should be able to go into mechanic school, right? At that time.
All of their schooling should be geared towards what they want to do. And you know what that does too, because this is what we've discussed, right? So this is like at least a $20,000 program, right? We only pay for her equipment. So it's about $1,500 that we have a year to pay off, right? So by the time she graduates, that's got it, $1,500 got to be paid. And so I told her, if you get into this and then you decide that you don't want to do it, that's okay, right? Yeah. You still got the experience and you got to do something, and and it didn't cost me anything, so there's a lot of these schools that do have skill centers is what they go through, right? And so Pierce County has a skill center that a lot of the schools go to. So they do have programs for kids who want to go into construction, right? They teach them the construction trade and how to read a tape measure. You would not believe how many guys my husband runs into that cannot read a tape measure. Yeah.
And he's in
construction. They mark shit wrong all the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
it's
a big
insane.
One. Yeah. I used to set tile. So I'm very familiar with all of that. I remember when I graduated high school, I went to Home Depot, I bought a book on setting tile, and then I started working as a tile helper. And within 2 months, I was setting tile, and I got all my tools, and then tiled my house to practice,
Yeah.
But I wish I, would have been able to do something like that when I was 13 or 14 and learn how to set tile at that time. But I realized after a few years setting tile that it was something I was not wanting to do for the rest of my life, though.
Yeah.
I've set tile since then a couple of times.
Right, because you had to, or because it was cheaper for you to do it, right? Because
it looked cool. Put some slate tile down,
Yeah.
I put little
but I think that
medallions
really
in it.
I think that really speaks to the expectations that we have for our children, right? Like they have made us look, they have made people in general lower their standards and act as if our kids cannot do things. And it baffles me. I cannot comprehend why you would lower your standards. My best friend's daughter has a few things going on, and still she's got she's almost done with everything for the school year because she's using the same program that we were using, a CVA. And she's a junior right now, but I think that she's going to graduate at least only need a quarter next year, right? Because she just flies through it because she's able to go at her own pace. and she's learning so much more than she would be in school. Like right now they're doing one assignment a week because she's so far ahead. They're trying to stretch it out for the rest of the quarter,
Wow.
And so there's nothing for her to do. And, but they've lowered the expectations. What do? They call it racist to give kids A's and stuff, and so that, well, they say that to have these standards is racist because not everybody has access to the same things.
And they should be given access to those things.
Then they should be given access to those things. 100%. I agree with you. We should not be lowering the expectations to make people who are failing, because we're failing our children. We should be raising our expectations, and they will rise to what you expect of them, period. They want to be challenged.
Yeah. So what we found, teaching kids how to learn quickly at the early ages, make it to where they will exceed all the expectations. And because they can gather information quickly and make decisions and have more responsibility when they're told what to do and when to do it, and when they can go to the bathroom, and the alarm going off.
Teaching them how to do what you're told.
Yeah. And they don't have agency, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy out there. I just had a thought that left me, but I guess it wasn't important.
Well, is there anything else you want to add, Jasper?
Probably just that it's like kind of insane how the standards have dropped, because I don't know. It's a lot.
It's sad.
Well, yeah, because like I'll see kids in my class and they'll be like taking forever to do one assignment that we've been assigned for the week, and it's like, why have you not been taught how to do this?
So
what about group projects? Trying to work in a group.
Do not get me started on group projects. Dude, nobody communicates. Everybody's doing something else, and nobody will actually like. There was this project that we were doing where we had to like act for an Othello thing. Like we were doing Shakespeare stuff. We had to make a video of us acting out a scene, but modernized. It took us a week and a half to even get the script finished, because I finished my part super quickly. And then I just kept seeing people, like I was checking the Google Doc every day, and I'm like, what are you guys not doing? Why is this not done? We had a week. And then we had to go almost 2 weeks over the due date because nobody would communicate about when we were going to film or like what we were doing about filming. Because someone else had Skill Center in the morning and I have Skill Center after. So those two didn't work. We didn't film during class because we we didn't have time. And by the time we got the script done, we ran out of time to go do that with the designated class time.
Did you guys get it done?
I think. I'm not the one who edited it. There was this one girl who was like, at least like trying to communicate with everybody, but I think she was just as annoyed as I was, because she tried to get everybody to film their parts so that she could get it edited to turn in.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't have time because I was doing other stuff in between classes, because not only was I leaving after that period to go to cosmetology, I was also at lunch doing either cosmetology homework, or I was working on other stuff for like the projects that we had, or like it just blows my mind how long it takes people to do things in gen ed classes, because I don't know if it's because of Cambridge or because I've just always been kind of like a fast thinker, and like I just work on projects pretty fast because it doesn't take that much to do it. You just have to get it done. And so it became really annoying over time.
That's what happens because you had expectations. I'm sorry. I have to apologize to my son all the time because he's like, people are stupid. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I had to beg him to finish school because he was so sick and tired of being there. Well, he was like, because he did.
Oh, same here. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, just graduate. I don't even care if you cheat. Like, just graduate. So anyway, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what school choice, the backpack effect, right? School vouchers. That's what would happen, is that there would be all kinds of other vocational schools opening up because of that. To have the ability to teach these kids from 14, 15, 16, 17, whereas the kid is actually in that school and not having to do algebra 1 or not having to do this class that they don't even need and it's not going to help them in the future, right? Whatever class that is.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're having to go to two different schools, but your career path that you know you're going on is cosmetology, right? So you're wasting a bunch of other time where you could be studying more and could have some more free time.
I could have a job if I didn't have to go to high school right now.
Yeah, so you have a job.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's ridiculous. And I don't make her go all the time. I don't give a shit. I said, I don't care if you go. Yeah. I said, there's absolutely no reason why you should have any grade lower than an A, because this is very simple. Most of it's electives. I'm like, so if your grade is dropping because you're not going, that's a problem. And then you need to go to school. But, I don't care.
Well, the thing is, she should be able to take all the material and finish it and then hand it in and then stop going to class. That's the honest truth.
That.
I mean,
that's what should happen.
I think I'm going to ask that. That's a really good idea.
Because there's qualifying tests for class, where you qualify and, that's where you're placed in college, right? That should happen in high school. I finished the entire book for small business management in 2 weeks. I should have been able to get out of that class, get in another class, or do something else.
And that's exactly what my friend's kid is doing.
That's how CVA works.
Yeah, that's exactly what my friend's kid is doing in CVA. If she gets done with stuff, so she's taken like criminal science and she's taken like all of these really cool classes because she finished everything. And so then you just move on. Yeah, and why can't you do that in a regular school? It's just stupid.
Yeah, we've used a few different online programs over the years, and the kids are able to just finish something quickly and go on to something else that they're interested in.
Yeah.
Why leave your kid boom, done. It's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of leaving them bored. Like it just destroys all that does is make them not interested in trying. That's what that did to my son. He was so bored that he didn't care and he didn't try. I mean, he would take the test. He got a B or a C out of geometry and never did one lick of work. He just took the tests. And, you shouldn't have to. So I'm going to ask that. I think that's a pretty good idea.
The only reason that wouldn't work is because with the drawing, I do take all of that time.
No. I'm not. If you want to go. I don't care. You know what I mean? I mean, I think that's good. I understand, like with drawing and anyway, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah. See, I loved art. That was the one class that I always had straight A's. I did it, 4 years in a row. Had the same teacher. It was awesome.
Yeah. Well, she goes to her teachers now. I told her, I said, well, go and ask them, like, can we do something different? Like, I've done all of this, or is there a different something that I can do for this writing project, or how can I make it longer, and like, can they ramp it up a little bit for her? But
that's what I did with the drawing, because I've been with the same teacher for the 3 years that I've been doing drawing classes. And he already knows that I've taken all his classes. He's seen what I can do with drawings. And so he had me make a plan for what I want to do, like one project every 2 weeks, because that's how long it takes me to finish something big. And so we've just been doing that, and
that's great. Fine. Yeah, because it's to your aptitude, your skill level. He puts a deadline on it, right? You can make it as intricate as you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great.
I told her only biggest problem now is that she's always going to be the leader. She's always going to have to be the leader because,
I already was.
The expectations are always up here.
Cambridge and the gen ed classes I have to be.
Yeah.
Well, you're about to graduate, right? Is this your last year?
Yeah, in June.
Yep.
And then cosmetology, I don't finish until August, but that's said everything.
Yep. So when she graduates in August, she will have her license and can start working and making some money, and then get out of my house. No, I'm just kidding. Start paying rent.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. No. Yeah, no, it's awesome. And she's good. She's been doing my hair. I mean, I haven't been, but she's good at it. So
well, awesome.
anyhow.
That's great. See, that's how it should happen, but you're also getting bogged down with all the things that you don't need at the same time. You know, and life is difficult when you've got 12 hours straight of stuff going on. It doesn't leave much time for anything else.
Not really.
So
No.
yeah, education system should be flexible. That's why I think there should be choice, and the money should be able to go with the kid to whatever type school that they're looking to go through, trade school, whatever it is. So.
Absolutely. For sure. We're going to work on that. So
Awesome.
So, all right.
Cool.
I guess we'll call it a day and we'll be back on tomorrow.
Yeah. Sounds good. Thanks so much.
Okay. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, Jasper.
Bye.
Bye.